Hello and welcome everybody. My name is Victor Marco and I'm the founder of Silicon Cities Consulting and Advisory. This is a consultancy specializing in business turnaround, project management and automation. I am also the co-founder of Future Tech Talent, which is a tech recruitment business. Today, I'll be co-hosting a webinar. This webinar will be about very exciting industry-breaking technology known as robotic process automation, where it is predicted that this type of technology will be a market size of about $26 billion on a global scale by 2025. The co-host and the major speaker will be Peter Camp. He will be discussing how implementing robotic process automation solutions will increase productivity and accuracy whilst reducing costs and creating workflow efficiencies. The audience will learn how robotic process automation solves problems associated with productivity and unnecessary costs. The webinar will go for 45 minutes, and as part of the 45-minute webinar, Q&A will be in the last 15 minutes. I'm just wishing everybody an enjoyable webinar, and over to you, Peter Camp. Thank you.
I'm Peter Camp, the CTO and founder of CampTek Software. We are at a watershed moment in human history. For the first time, technology is going to work for humans versus humans working for technology. For far too long, we've been at the mercy of computers, repetitive data entry, and countless hours wasted navigating business applications. The virtue of software automation, and specifically robotic process automation, AI, and ML will soon be realized. In what some are calling the fourth industrial revolution, we are at the brink of something momentous. At CampTek Software, we're here to help businesses and knowledge workers achieve their automation goals. We create solutions using automation that allow people to focus on tasks that are higher value and meaningful. These are exciting times, and I'm honored to be a leader in this space as we usher in a new age.
Welcome to CampTek Software, a leading RPA SaaS provider. Thank you for the opportunity to share a bit more about our company with you. As an automation solution provider, we help make companies more efficient and give today's knowledge workers the tools they need to drive increased productivity for their organization.
RPA has been around in some form or fashion for almost 40 years. Its growth in the past few years has been driven by several factors: increased reliability, ability to scale, and the inclusion of AI and ML technologies. Additionally, many companies do not have the resources to navigate this new reality. What drives this need for automation for companies of all sizes is they are faced with a massive productivity problem. Statistics have shown that the average knowledge worker is productive for only 2 hours and 52 minutes a day and uses just 27% of the time performing skilled work. As the economy begins to recover and the labor market gets tighter, companies are looking to do more with less and maximize the efficiency of their resources.
What is RPA? RPA is not a bunch of robots looking to take over the world. In fact, RPA is a software robot that works hand in hand with a human. The human can either be part of the process or the actual implementer of the robot themselves. There's a concept in this space called attended automation and unattended automation. Unattended automation is generally a back office robot that does tasks on a scheduled time period, generally large volume tasks that don't involve human in the loop type scenarios. An attended robot is one that works hand in hand with a human either through an interface that they program or something that is programmed externally to work as a desktop assistant or a digital assistant, we like to call them. Here's a slide that I like to show about RPA. Talks a little bit about the nature of how it works with applications. It's non-invasive, of course. It interacts with applications the same way humans do and computers do. The other thing it does too, which is excellent, it can operate in multiple layers. So it can operate in the back end, as I described before, in the back office, but also hand in hand with the computer and the human itself. It can actually abstract itself above the application layer to provide value wherever is needed in the enterprise stack. Who's CampTek Software? We've been doing RPA development almost close to 20 years at this point. We're an RPA software as a service provider. A majority of our clients utilize us for business process outsourcing, helping alleviate some of the strain, add more efficiencies to operations, particularly in finance. We're based in the United States, northeastern United States, in a little small city called Portland, Maine, not Portland, Oregon. Some people get confused about that. We support our partners anywhere in their journey. So if they're not familiar with RPA and they just want to ask some questions and they're thinking about a strategy, we can help you there. If you're deeper into it, we can certainly help you in that point. We have quite a few clients that come to us with broken bots that we can help fix and kind of get their automation program back in line. Personally, I'm an automation thought leader, do a lot of speaking engagements, write a lot of blogs, thought pieces, things like that. Our staff is mostly based in the United States. We do have some overseas staff as well, but everyone is certified on the UiPath platform. UiPath is our primary RPA enterprise tool that we use. The thing we can do too is we can scale our teams to meet the needs of the initiative. So if they're larger engagements, we have the ability to scale to that. We also use an agile methodology on all our projects. And as I mentioned before, provide continuity where others don't. So if there is an issue where bots are broken, or you had a partner that left you, or you wanted to cease operations with the partner, we can step right in. Here's some of the services we offer. Obviously, being a RPA shop, we offer development as well as support. Support's a huge focus for us. We believe in supporting the bots actually before they're actually built. So thinking about ways we can support them after they've reached production. We can also do some process discovery and analysis to help discover opportunities, both from the back office and front office scopes. We also have an ability to do some legacy script conversions. There are actually some older tools out there that we've done some upgrades on. In addition, if there's an in-house COE or you want to build a COE, we can help with that as well. We've built a few with some of our customers in the financial sector. Here's a brief overview of our methodology that we take with every single engagement. Obviously analysis is important, development, we do quite a bit of that, and testing goes hand in hand with the development. And then acceptance is really an important phase before the bot goes live, making sure the customer understands kind of what they're getting, making sure that we've passed all the tests and meet all the requirements. And then finally, support, which is our focus, honestly. That's really more so than a lot of other companies. We focus heavily on support, making sure that your operations run smoothly and the bots are running smoothly. So people ask, what's the difference between RPA, artificial intelligence, machine learning? I love this image, which kind of describes a little bit of how it works. RPA is the handwork, so you're basically teaching it to do what you would do on a computer, or what a knowledge worker or whoever is being used to as an SME. AI and ML provide some of the head work, so more of the intelligence behind this. That being said, a lot of the RPA activities have quite a bit of AI and ML inside them. So, detecting screens, understanding computer vision, things like that. It's really been a huge boon in the market, particularly around the intelligence of the actual activities that are interacting. So that's only going to get more and more as we move along. UiPath has really taken a lead in that area, providing intelligent activities that go with their products. But that being said, if there's things outside of the realm of the applications themselves, whether it be, intelligent automation, reading complex documents, using machine learning models to determine decisions, that can also be brought to the fore. Here's some of the offerings, core offerings that we utilize, both directly and indirectly. Obviously, UiPath is our centerpiece in most cases. But we've used Microsoft quite a bit for their cloud-based AI activities, as well as Google. We do a bit of work with Amazon Textract, as well as Abby. Abby's another vendor we use quite a bit. But the point being with this slide is, you have quite a few opportunities to use and leverage, and use the UiPath platform as a centerpiece, as an integration tool. They actually just purchased a company called Cloud Elements, I think about a month ago, API focused. So, one of the philosophies, one of the earlier blogs I wrote was like, what's the difference between RPA and API? Really, you want to use an API when you can. And the tool really allows you to use an API, but also use the front end and traditional RPA activities as well. Here are some of our products that we've created, just kind of running down real quick. We have a full life cycle RPA support. So we basically build and support your bots, both on premises, within your cloud or our cloud or whatever it might be. We have a really quick enablement model for customers that's just looking to get started, lower cost of entry, but still utilizing the value of the UiPath platform. We also recently launched a document management indexing portal, which basically indexes documents and files anywhere, both on file systems, SharePoint, FTP servers, Box, or even Dropbox, for instance, any place, and it will basically find the document and in some cases extract the contents of the document so they're searchable. And then obviously keeping with the security model of the organization. The other platform or product we recently launched as well, we're very excited about, is Citizen Development as a Service. Knowledge worker enablement really allows, I'll talk about this a little bit more later on, really allows an organization to kind of have a bottom-up approach of automation. Fourth one is the invoice bot, which is one of our bread and butter bots, which processes invoices. We'll talk about that too and the value around that. So some of the things you should know about RPA and some of the pitfalls that have occurred in, I'd say, the last 3 to 4 years. Plenty of companies, large especially, have taken on RPA projects and failed. Some of the larger providers out there, just kind of slam these things in, charge a heavy price tag, and they're not there to support them. One of the reasons behind that is obviously insufficient detail, not really identifying proper processes to automate, things like that. The other thing is too, I think, you know, it's really important to understand you get with the right partner. It really, you know, these tools are not cheap, and you know the organization really needs proper support and people that can help you guide you down the road. You know, frequently say, you know, we can get you going, and then if you want to take it in house at some point, several years down the road, certainly able to do that. All the code that we create is transferable, so there's no ownership of the code itself. We do have some activities that are, you know, custom, but most of the time, you know, we can certainly pass along the code as needed. Majority of companies leverage a third party for first steps. You know, 70% do, and then the other 30% that don't usually come back and leverage that third party. We've seen a lot of companies try to go it alone with this, and it's just not a great strategy, especially out of the gate. And I'll even say once companies even own the technology, it's hard for them to support it in some cases because it's changing so quickly. You know, UiPath, for instance, comes out with several products a year, if not more. They went from 3 products to almost 23 in about 3 years. So it gives you an idea of kind of how this is evolving. You really need a partner that's plugged in to kind of what's going on. So UiPath is our primary partner. You know, as the days move along, just more and more impressed with their technology stack and their approach to the market. You know, UiPath was our first choice when we started the company several years ago, primarily because of the breadth of their solutions, their reliability, their market focus, all that. And they are the wave leader for Forrester. I think this is now 3 or 4 years in a row they've been that way. They're also taking some leadership position in the process discovery space as well. They recently had a very successful IPO on the New York Stock Exchange. So there's a lot of momentum behind them. You know, the other ones are kind of falling behind, honestly, in some cases. Automation Anywhere is right there in some ways, but not in others. You know, and there's been quite a talk about, you know, Microsoft's movement in the market. And, you know, that's certainly something worth engaging with, but we still feel UiPath is the top in the industry. Here's a sample of some of the applications we've automated. We've done quite a bit in healthcare, of course, financial services. You know, so these are some of the applications we've done, not all of them, of course, but just gives you an idea of kind of what we've been able to automate. This is one of my favorites, especially for some of the people that might be have been around for a little while in the technology space, or even, you know, if you work with legacy technologies. Basically, with RPA, if you can see it, you can automate it. So even this green screen, you know, which may look old, there's APIs and things like that you can use to automate this. This is another slide I like to show. It's actually a healthcare architecture diagram, but it kind of describes, I guess, what enterprise businesses look like now. There's just so many different systems, you know, both new and old. There's so many applications people are using now on the desktop. They just get more and more, you know, whether it be even some of the Microsoft applications, and then you have Google Suite, and, you know, it just goes, you know, if you have SAP or, you know, Salesforce, of course, any type of email automation. The point is that it's just getting to be very cumbersome, kind of as I described in the beginning of this presentation. So how do we get through this? Basically, you need to find clarity in the confusion. All processes aren't created equal. So, you know, we've had clients that have come to us with a very, very arduous process that it would be impossible to automate because if not clear rules, not clear set of guidelines. Also, the ROI may not be there in some cases. So you really need to find a process that makes sense. You know, you do want to improve a process, but generally you don't want to have to do that with RPA hand in hand. So improve the process first, figure out a process everyone agrees on, and then automate it. So what we say is you're starting out is find some high value use cases. Start with the rule of three. Start with 3 processes you think are home runs that can build the initiative, gain excitement. This technology is a land and expand technology. Specifically, even if you bring in like a citizen development program, that'll only make it more expansive. And that's really, you know, thinking about the automating an entire division, obviously entire company, but thinking about it from the beginning holistically versus just, okay, we want to automate our invoice processing, you know, operation. Yeah, think of it, okay, we're going to do that, but we also want to automate these other processes that are in the finance department. So generally, rule of three is a good place to start, you know, and finding those high value use cases is paramount. So here are some of the common financial services use cases that we've come across. You know, obviously invoices, POs are big, processing cash data, reporting P&L, whether that be monthly, you know, quarterly, and a year, processing payments. You know, we do some work in healthcare. Claims obviously are huge, but that could even be for insurance companies themselves. You know, automating some governance activities, you can do that in a lot of different ways. One of the things we're really finding out there right now is the need for intelligent document processing. So taking complex documents and trying to extract data out of them. There's a variety of different providers we use depending on the complexity. Those can be very highly intensive, but the technology is certainly there where it hadn't been before. Here's a couple of the financial service use cases that we've done. You know, this invoice processing, posting. One is the invoice bot. Basically, you know, handles infinite number of invoices a month. You basically feed these invoices to the invoice processing software that gets more and more intelligent over time, works hand in hand with, you know, the team to make sure that all the information is gathered, and the, you know, using a verification station, it then is able to take that information and pass it along to a software robot that can input this into a system or systems or a database or whatever it might be. But yeah, the reduction of overall workload is 60% is probably even low. We've seen some clients get down to almost 95%. We're actually working with a client on a POC right now where they have, you know, not a lot of not many invoices, like 1,000 a month, but they're still spending 20 hours a week to input these invoices. So, you know, that's a lot of time. I mean, that's a half a FTE. So this type of thing can easily be brought in, bring that number down to less than, you know, an hour a week, probably just with the verification pieces of it. And the rest of it can be automated. So something to think about. The other thing, one of the issues with invoice processing is, you know, not being able to reliably pull data off some of these invoices. Some of these third market aftermarket solutions are able to do that, but not reliably. And the tools we use are very, very reliable. We can get upwards of 90%, if not closer to 95% after, you know, 6 to 12 month burn in. Here's another use case that we've worked on, and kind of out of the realm or out of the norm, but kind of speaks to some of the issues that happen within the financial services industry, where there's a lot of, I'd say, legacy Excel, macros, things like that are pivotal, are absolutely the bread and butter of an operation. They still are. We work with a pretty large company to help their portfolio evaluation group update their models. You know, and the models, thousands of different models based on kind of the similar model. Macro focus using VBA. We were able to go in there, fix the issues with the models, have them processed as needed, as well as align their data strategy. Multiple data feeds from like a Thomson Reuters, S&P, and Bloomberg, able to fix that from the back end, but then also use RPA to go in, fix the plumbing inside of the Excel spreadsheets and present them to the group so they could process their month-end reports to their clients. Basically, we estimate somewhere around, they've estimated around 1,000 hours a month, if not more. The program has expanded a little bit more, so it could be closer to 1,500 to 2,000 because it's went from a group in the United States and London. Now it's expanded to India and beyond. So really finding a lot of value there for them, and they're intending to expand their program as well. Here's the third one. This is loosely, I guess, in the financial arena, but kind of a cool one. We have a couple bots that actually do some goods received through a matching type bots where we'll get a feed from a vendor like McKesson. We have another one, a Staples bot that does the same type of thing, where it goes into the systems and verifies like what goods have been received. So what McKesson's report is being sent to the customer. So if you're doing a lot of inventory, a lot of suppliers, this bot will actually go into your P2P system and then the external data source to verify that everything's been received. And then you can, if there's a PO attached, it actually closes out a PO too as well. This one saved close to 50 hours a month. I'd say it's probably more than that, honestly, close to probably 80 to 100, but it certainly has proved its value. So this kind of shows a screen of what it's doing. It's going in, actually receiving the bots, updating the values in this case, Basware. So here are some of our bots in action. Just wanted to show a quick video of kind of like how the bots work. These videos actually look like a human's typing these items in. It's not. The robot is actually doing this. Okay, so the next step I just want to, there's been a lot of talk out there about low code, no code applications. And I wanted to talk a little bit about how we view the world as far as automation is concerned. So basically on the left, you see code complexity. On the right, you see process complexity. Citizen developers, which are end users, knowledge workers that aren't specifically that technical, they kind of fall into that no code, low process complexity realm. Talk a little bit about the enablement tools around citizen development in a moment. The middle layer is the digital assistants, kind of the attended robots working with the human. Those can be created both by like a COE, RPA development team. Generally, you may get some ideas from the citizen developers to build those type of widely distributed robots. We have a client actually in the States that's looking to push these things out. They're going through a beta program right now, but they're looking to push out digital assistants, which are, little assistants that work with their knowledge workers to enhance common tasks, so tasks that are widely used, like logging into systems or, for scheduling, things like that. It's also used quite a bit, like in the travel space with hotels, and essentially these are just like components that work with the humans, but are developed by a COE or RPA development team. The highest complexity, code complexity and process complexity are what we're calling hybrid applications, which can be those back office robots that are more unattended. There can be an attended element to it, and I think we're going to see more and more of that as we move along. We're feeling at this point the unattended space is kind of growing a little. There's not a lot left to do over there. Granted, there are some really high value things you can do, but we feel the explosion is more on the attended side. So whether it be an attended robot or human working with an unattended robot, so the human may do, a small amount of the tasks, and then the unattended robot will do the rest. As we described before, the average worker is only productive for about 2 hours and 53 minutes a day. In addition, they only use about 27% of their day doing skilled work. So we have a massive productivity problem on our hands. These systems are bogging us down. We need to do something about it, both as, from a citizen development standpoint, but all three, levels that I just described in the previous slide. So why citizen development? Basically, it enables a self-service approach, accelerating transformation, automation. This developer is a non-professional developer, so they can build applications themselves or automations themselves that are beneficial. The other thing that's really cool about it is that the knowledge workers can share their automations with each other. And there isn't a huge lift from IT. There isn't a huge lift from a development team. They're generally unstructured type automations, lower in complexity. Don't need a ton of requirements gathering. A lot of the things that more traditional RPA, unattended robots, or even the digital assistants need. So it's a really quick way of kind of providing some productivity gains without really getting into the entire program itself. One of the things I like to say too, it's power of the people. So it's giving knowledge workers, tools to automate their jobs and become more productive. And, not to mention, a lot of people find enjoyment in automating their day. And it provides great value to the organization where they don't have to necessarily build a massive team to fix a productivity problem. They can essentially say, okay, these issues can be covered under system development. These processes can be, sent to the back office team. So it's a very quick way of increasing productivity in a short amount of time. We actually are doing a study with a university in the United States around citizen development, which we provide at the beginning of our program, middle of the program, the end of the program. So as a way to identify potential opportunities within the organization, from a self-awareness standpoint. We're also working on another survey, an index, automation index survey to understand level of automation adoption in the United States and the world, actually. So here's a quick video on Studio X, which is the citizen development program we use.
Are you doing the same boring thing over and over again? Filling out reports, sending notification emails, moving data from one application to another. This is not something one gets excited about, is it? But wait, you just heard that this work can be automated. What a great idea! You can now hand this over to a software assistant to do the work for you, making you more productive and resulting in more accurate work. When you reach out to your company's RPA developers, they start talking about return on investment, number of hours saved, and all those metrics. But this is such a simple task, it would never fit their criteria. What if you had a tool that would allow you to visually develop your automation without any coding needed? Just drag and drop, and the reports fill themselves. Studio X is a new automation development tool that allows you to easily build smaller task automations, run them locally, and save yourself a ton of hours of boredom. With its intuitive interface, simple templates to get you started, and a very detailed documentation and free Academy course, Studio X is the perfect tool for business users who want to get started with automation. Your department colleagues are facing the same type of tasks as you. The great news is you can share your automation with them and help them out as well. Did you hit upon a goldmine, a process that everyone in the company wants to have? Hand over your file to the Center of Excellence. Here, an RPA developer can open it in Studio, slightly adjust it for wider distribution, and share with the entire workforce. Now that you've got the hang of it, what is the next project you want to tackle to make your life easier?
And we, of course, have a citizen development as a service offering that we just launched. Here's some description of the program, in addition to some pricing. Essentially, it's an enablement program in which we're able to get you started on Studio X, get you on our orchestrator so you can share with the team. We also have an onboarding session, which includes some training, enablement, as well as a yearly support aspect. So if there's issues once you've gotten through the program, we can do desktop sessions, things like that, to help you get through the activities, or if there's questions or it's not working or whatever it might be. Most of these starter packs include at least one bot solution, so we actually create the bot for you. So if there's a high value bot or multiple high value bots you want us to do, we can help you with that. So it's a really quick way, as I noted before, to get your program going. So at the end of the day, really what we're all trying to do here is take the robot out of the human. As I said in the beginning of this, we've spent far too long dealing with these systems, these repetitive data entry, these multiple applications we have to get through every day. And a lot of times we're basically doing the same workflow over and over again, or we're doing something at the end of the month that we have to do over and over again. That can all be automated. If you're looking to automate bigger things like invoices and payments and things like that, that also can be done as well. And obviously the primary purpose of automation is to create efficiencies, focus on the important things of life. So think about, sitting on that hammock and dreaming of the robots working so you don't have to. Please let me know if you have any questions. We'll open up our Q&A period now.